Let's get it.
Yeah, now turn the beat up, beat up. I think I feel it, feel it. We talking Jesus, Jesus, he be the realest, realest. We rep that raw, raw. We so official, official. And after this, homie, we taking pictures, pictures. The paparazzi watching, they on my radar daily. We repping Christ, that Christ, he be the savior. Excuse my raw behavior, I do his will without Jada, will without Jada. Talking nonsense. No, I see you later. Later, I left that life alone. We thinking greater, greater. Now I'm on God's team. The devil calls me traitor. I had that slum thinking. I'm thinking skyscrapers. I talk abundant life. Little homie, you should try it. Now put your wallet away. No need to buy it. He the Messiah, the one who lit the fire. We live for Yahweh. I get what I desire. Now turn that beat up, beat up. I think I feel it. Now turn that beat up, beat up. I think I feel it. Now turn that beat up, beat up. I think I feel it. Now turn that beat up, now turn that beat up, beat up. Now turn that beat up, beat up. I think I feel it. Now turn that beat up, beat up. I think I feel it. Now turn that beat up, beat up. I think I feel it. Now turn that beat up, now turn that beat up. Ay, we're bringing the cross wherever we go, and man, the hood needs saving. I'm trying to reach some souls, ain't there no way you can have him, Satan. With the body of Christ, no division. At his feet hitting the streets like a collision. Ain't no more giving, ain't no more giving, ain't no more giving, ain't no more giving up. Cause the Lord's with us for whatever we do. And Lord, I ask to be their light. As they follow me, I'ma follow you. Glory to you, God, you deserve all my honor and all of my praise. Cause if it wasn't for you, I'd still be stuck in my evil ways. Like I'm still feeling high, but this time with the Holy Spirit, no lie. And I don't need no sticky green to keep me off up in the sky. All I need is my Jesus beside me. Get on my knees and I ask for his guidance. Yeah, and his perfect will and his perfect timing, perfect timing. What? Get on his track, just to rhyme, and I'ma lift him up and thank the Lord for everything Jesus Christ did for us. Yeah, no, I wasn't gonna make it, but this time I'm a brand new creation, redeemed by my Savior. Yeah, I turn that beat up, I think I feel it. Now turn that beat up, I think I feel it. Now turn that beat up, I think I feel it. Now turn that beat up, now turn that beat up, now turn that beat up, I think I feel it. Now turn that beat up, I think I feel it. Now turn that beat up, I think I feel it. Now turn that beat up, now turn that beat up.
My man CJ, what's going on, my brother?
Not much, man. What's happening, brother? You doing all right?
Man, I'm good. Welcome to the Progression Podcast, man.
Man, thank you for having me.
It's so crazy. I say, well, CJ done entered the pod, man.
Come on, man. Let's go. Let's go.
We used to say that, when the dude that came to the pod, we said, man, he came to the pod, man. So
that's a different meaning now.
yeah, it's a different meaning. So he done entered the pod, man. It's great to see you, man. How's it going, man?
Man, I'm thankful, man. It's going well, man. I had some pretty cool opportunities here lately, man. Just serving, man. Just thankful to be alive, thankful to be breathing, and man, just living every day, man. With that gratefulness, man. So, man, I'm doing well. Thankful.
That's what's up, man. I got this thing. I'm trying to figure it out. There you go.
You good? Come on.
Closer now. You real closer now.
Come on.
So, look, I like to start off with my my Bible verse. What I'm this is kind of our little theme verse. We say 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things have come brand new. Right? Read it twice. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Oh, you got it right there. All things are passed away. Behold, like it's a surprise. Behold,
Oh, what?
Because it is a surprise for me because God changed my life, man. I didn't think that I could ever be like this, man.
Come on.
If you would have told me I'd be doing this like 20 years ago, I told you, man, you crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I just want to really get right into it, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Come on. Bet.
TJ, I've been with you. I've seen you in the white.
Come on.
And I've seen you now come back in, with the brothers and encourage the brothers. You know what I'm saying? So, first of all, I need to know because I don't even know. I want to know what your childhood was like, where you from, your childhood, your teen life. Could you tell me about that?
Yeah, man. So I growing up, man, my dad is actually a minister. I grew up with a mom and a dad, a brother and a sister, and I had both parents, but it was one of those things that even growing up in the church, I was always a pretty rebellious kid. Always wanted to do my own thing. Wasn't really trying to listen that much, but was very thankful for the upbringing that I had. But as I started to get older, as I started to get into my my teenage years, being brought up in the church like that, I always felt like for some reason that everybody was trying to keep me, because I wanted to do what I wanted to do. I wanted to go hang out with these people. I wanted to do something different, but I wasn't, it was like I wasn't allowed to do those things. So as I began to become a teenager, man, I began to just become even more rebellious. And so I began spending time with people that I knew I had no business spending time with, but I felt like in some way, shape, or form by people telling me, "Hey, you don't need to hang out with those people." It was like they were trying to keep me from, from living, trying to keep me from, experiencing something different because I had been doing, this, church thing as a kid growing up and stuff like that. And to me, it was just one of those. It was one of those, hey man, we just show up to a building once a week and we sing these songs and we read out of this book and this dude gets up and talks for a minute and then we just go on about our week, man. I'm good, bro. Like I want to go over and try this. So yeah.
It's almost like we doing God a favor. We gonna show up, and just
I'm gonna bless you with my presence.
You know what I'm saying? We doing him a favor,
Yeah. So
it's crazy, man. So you had both parents.
Correct. Yeah. I had. What's that?
But then that rebellious spirit, it just came upon you in your teenage years. Now, talk a little bit about your teenage years. What I don't mean to get juicy and get into your business.
No, man, this is what it's about, though. I mean, being able to talk about these kind of things because it's not about me, man. It's about no matter where you come from, no matter what you've been through. It's the grace, the power of the love of Christ. So I know for me in my life, as I began to become a teenager, right off the muscle, before anything, it was pornography. And so I'm hanging out with these dudes and they're like, "Say, man, check out, back in that day, it was like magazine, all this kind of stuff. So these dudes are having stuff like that." And so I'm like, I mean, what kid? I mean, I'm a teenager. I mean, I'm a teenage boy, you know what I mean? So I'm, going through all these changes and whatnot. And it was like, dang, bro. So pornography was right off the muscle. But for me, it was, I didn't realize how much of an addictive personality I had. And so for me, it was a very, very quick transition that started off at something with pornography. And before I knew it, I was smoking cigarettes and drinking occasionally. Then I was smoking weed. Then, I mean, I'm still a teenager in middle school and man, I'm popping pills and doing all this stuff and, doing stuff on the weekends. And then that's spilling over into, the week. And now I'm using on a regular basis. And it didn't take me very long at all before, the grip of this sin, of addiction, of multiple things began. It took over my life, man. And it was a very, very quick thing. It wasn't gradual for me. It was just, I got out there and I was like, so man, I'm real all the way this way or all the way that way. So it's like, hey, if I'm gonna get out here and go this way, then
all the way that way.
Yeah, bro, but I went all the way left, bro. So it was one of those things. I buried myself in this life. I was tired of doing the God thing or whatever. And I didn't even really, to be honest, have a clear understanding from what I read now in the Bible as far as what all of it was. But for me, it was like, dude, this is fun. I loved feeding that, it was about pleasure. It was about comfort. It was about fun. It was about enjoying myself and not be responsible and go to class and do these all. No, man, I wanted to party. I wanted to have a good time. And of course you want to be accepted by people, and you want to have fun, and you want to do what you want to do. And so that was really the path that I began to take. And it was real quick for me.
Yeah. You want to have that freedom, but don't know really you're in bondage. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of crazy because we want to be the little G gods, you know what I'm saying, of our own life.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Like I put a post up today and I said, honestly, I am the weapon formed against me that was,
you dang right.
I was the weapon,
Yep.
And I don't even know. I think, I'm praying, God, no weapon formed against me, but it's really me.
In your own way.
Yeah. So one quick question, and it don't have to be quick. You can give me the real answer.
Yeah.
You know how you feel about it. What led you to prison?
For me, it was definitely drugs and going down that route. I started using on a regular basis, and so to support that habit, I began to steal things. I began to take things from anybody and everybody I knew. And then I realized that the people that I would hang around with, I love people. I love being around people. So I was hanging around with a lot of people that use drugs. And so I figured, hey man, I might as well go ahead and just start selling to the people that I know. And so for me, that it started, with that. And then from that, it didn't take me very long, just with the way my mind worked. I was like, well, hey man, Dope Man's not going to call the police if we go and rob him. So that was for me. That began to be a regular thing. I would still work in restaurants, so that was kind of like my end, to have a community and network of people that I would sell to. So I would go and I would get a connect. I would buy from him and sell to the people that I worked with. And after going through him, because I would go, 3, 4, 5 times a week to pick up. And so after seeing him 3, 4, 5 times a week for a couple months, I gained enough of his trust to where I would come show up with another dude or two, and then we would rob him.
He goes too.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, like you say, he goes too. Yeah, it's crazy that you said that, because I sold dope for one day.
Come on.
I'm telling you what happened. I sold dope for one day, and God put me in some apartments. He said, I was like 15 years old. And so he put me in apartments, in one apartment, and he said, roll the curtains up, put it in a ball, and that means you got some. The fiends will know you got some. But when you let the thing down, that means you done sold out. They know not to come. So they knocked on the door, and, I'm 15. I don't know no better. So I opened the door. Man, it's about 4 dudes, grown dudes, coming there and robbed me.
Yeah.
I even had a gun in my pocket. They took the gun out my pocket and said, what are you doing with this? You know what I'm saying? And so they beat me like I was a grown man. And so I sold dope for one day, right? And that day, the dude I was selling the dope for, he came and picked me up. And I told him the whole story on the way home. Told him the whole story. Oh man, you see my eye, you see everything. The gun is gone, everything. He didn't say anything, but when he got to my house, he was letting me out the car. And I said, man, I'm so sorry, man. Hey man, I'm sorry. He looked at me, he said, I still want my money though.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I was like, I done told this dude everything, man, and he still want his money.
It's almost like they don't care about me.
The thing was, something was birthed in me that day. I said I had spent all that day selling this 50 pack, all that day, but they came in 5 minutes and took the whole money from me. So robbing had got into my head. I was like, man, that was easier.
Yeah.
And so, a stupid mind, I just had a stupid mind and say, well, I think I want to do that,
Yeah.
So I started robbing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
the power of what you see, and what's going to your head. And when you have a young mind, it's the power of what you see
Definitely.
and those things that you contemplate, you think about, and then you manifest. You know what I'm saying? And started doing. That's how I was led to the penitentiary.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
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 So I see how you was led to the penitentiary, right?
Yeah.
What was it like your first day in?
Man, it was
Your first day in.
It was one of those things. It was crazy because I had spent so many years surrounding myself with the kind of people that I was going to do time with in prison. And so I get to prison, and you know what I'm saying? And so it was one of those things. It was like because I got high. So what?
You're almost comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, like I was like, oh, hey, you recognize a couple people, especially from Harris County anyway. But yeah, it was one of those things that my first day in, I was like, I mean, the drugs have worn off. I'm used to getting high every day, and so it was like, it's worn off, and you're kind of, realizing what's going on, and it's a rock bottom kind of moment. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you don't. You just feel lost, man. You get into this place, and it's for me, my experience, it was definitely the darkest place I've ever been. And I mean, you see these different guys getting heart checks over in the corner of these rooms, these dudes getting beat down, clicking up with other dudes, and all this stuff that's taking place. And it's like it's a very sobering. It's a very it'll wake you up, man, if you've been asleep for some years, that, hey, man, this is not where it's at, bro. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of perversion. It's an insane place, man. So my first day in there, I remember just looking around and being like, bro, how did I end up here? I mean, even though, I mean, at this point when I went to prison, I was like 30 years old, and I caught my first charge when I was 15. I'd been messing up since I was, 11, 12, 13 years old. And so I've been living my life like this, but I still had this thought looking around like, man, how did I end up here? How did this happen, man? I never would have thought I'd ended up in prison, yet all the decisions that I had been making since I was a kid were in and out of jail, felony, misdemeanor, arrest, in and out, rehab here, psych ward here. This is where my life was heading. But I still sat there whenever I got there, and I was just like, bro, how did I end up here, man? How did I end up in prison, man? And so, yeah, that first day, it's a very sobering moment where I really had to sit there for a second. You do some thinking, man. You really do some thinking. Man, come on.
Yeah. It was a guy, his name was Marshall. He had 230 life sentence when I got him there. So he told me, he said, your best thinking got you right here. The decisions that you wanted to make for your life got you right here to this point.
Yep.
Now will you listen? Now will you listen to somebody?
Turn them on, man.
30 life sentences, so it's over for me. So now you got a chance to get out and do the right thing. Now I had, when I met him, I did get out and I didn't do the right thing. So I got out, and that time I did, I just felt like, man, I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna be a good boy. I'm just be a good boy, man. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need that Bible, man. I don't need that right there. I just be a good boy.
I'll just do the right thing.
That didn't work. That didn't work. So I slowly but surely ended up back. I did little things. I felt like a little sin, and I think murdering people is a big sin. So I'm not gonna do that one, But then I slowly ended up back in the penitentiary. You know what I'm saying? So I caught another case. I'm back in the penitentiary. And so I'm having those thoughts of what he told me. He said, your best thinking got you right here. Again.
Yeah, man.
It's like
man.
He goes out in the street, gets hit, and then he goes get hit again.
Right back, man. Right back. right back.
Yeah, I did.
But I think you said it well though. It's we a lot of us, myself included, I have believed this lie my entire life, that it's like how the enemy likes to minimize things, and how he uses our thinking and our thoughts to say, yeah, man, I may be out doing A, B, and C, but at least I'm not out, hitting licks, and at least I'm not back out,
Right.
doing this and do it. Yeah. But I'm still not doing the things I know I need to be doing. But that's the way the enemy used me as well, as far as saying, man, even while I was locked up, man, I say, you know what, I'm going to walk, and I'm going to do my time the right way. I did my time solo, so I didn't roll with anybody, but I say, man, I'm going to stand my word. I'm going to link up with some guys and follow Christ while I'm in here. And still, it was one of those things where I minimized it, and I was like, well, I know I need to study my word, but I'll just read a little verse or here or there, and I'll go to church or whatever. But my heart wasn't in the right place. So I still wasn't doing what I know I needed to be doing in regards to following him. And the enemy he'll use that every single time, man, every single time. And like that belief, like there's this big gray area that you can live in as a believer, right? Like it's not just black and white. There's this gray area where, hey, I'm a Christian, but I'm not out, killing people and robbing and doing drugs and stuff. I'm just kind of, going on about being a good boy, doing what I know I'm supposed to be doing.
That's why,
But it's such a lie, man. It's such a lie, because it's that mindset that the enemy wants us to have, so he can take us further and further. Because what's it going to lead me to, man? If I'm just going to do a little bit wrong, then that makes it that much easier the next time that I got a decision if I'm going to do something. I mean, it's a little bit further, but at least it's not.
Right. Sometimes I think we have the misconception that, I always can come back. I can, it's not much, you know what I'm saying? But I think that once because it's a lot of us Christians, believers, that walk around and say, well, I'm afforded a little sin. I think I'm afforded a little sin.
For we've all sinned and fall short of the glory of God.
I do stuff that God is not pleased with every day. I understand that. I'm not one of the. I used to go into churches and I would hear preachers say, I want to give thanks to God, the pastors on the roster, and sinners if it be any. And I used to be like,
am I the only one?
I mean, if you're not, you might as well go on up. Right now, So my pastor used to say something. He said, "You so heavenly good till you know earthly good." So you might as well go up.
Yeah, man, shoot.
You don't really need you.
Tell me your secret before you go. Tell me your secret, because I can't figure it out, dude.
You really don't need you down here. So thank you.
Dang.
Thank you for your service. No, for real. It's like, I feel you, man. In prison, the second time when I did give my life to Jesus Christ, I just came to a point. Like I tell people all the time, I came to Jesus out of fear.
Come on.
And not out of love. Now, when I got out, I started studying the word a little bit more. I had that hunger for more. And then I say, I need to come to Jesus out of love, because this is what I'm feeling right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what I want to ask you is, was there in that stint, was there a life-changing moment that you had, like something you can pick out of that time? Like, I know it's like 2 times when I was locked up that it just changed my whole mindset. So is it a part in there that, a moment that changed your life?
Yeah, man. I started off at Gurney Unit, and then I got shipped over to Hutchins, and so I was at Hutchins, and was going to church and reading my word and all that kind of stuff. And man, it just, the enemy, like he always does, world started pulling at me, man. Even from inside, world started pulling at me. And so it was one of those things. I had a job where I had access to all these relays, that they would use to make, tattoo guns and stuff. Mm-hmm. And man, I started selling them to different people. And man, they started paying me in dough. They started paying me in dough. So I started getting high again while I was at Hutchins. And so going on about my business and going through whatever. And man, all of a sudden I started getting sick. I don't know if I realized what's going on, and I knew something was wrong. And it had this weird little black looking dot thing that was growing on my ear, and I couldn't tell. I don't know what it was, and it kept getting bigger. And fast forward, about a month, man, my vision's all blurry. I'm starting to throw up. I don't know what's going on, man. So they end up taking me down. I ended up going to John Seeley, ended up having cancer. And so they almost had to chop my ear off because the cancer was growing into my head, and I had lymph nodes down in my neck. And so it was spreading into my head. And so they got me down there. I was at John Seeley for about a month or so, whatever. So they had to do a couple surgeries, cut all the cancer out and stuff. And then they shot me to Darrington. And I was supposed to be in Darrington for about 3 or 4 hours because we got there at middle of the night. So I was just supposed to be there for a couple of hours. They were going to ship me back. Well, I got lost in the system, and I ended up spending 2 months on Beeline in close G5. Yeah. Close custody. G5. So I was back there for a couple of months, man. And it was a winter too. It was it was right around Thanksgiving, December time. And so it was super cold, man. It took me a week to get a blanket kind of thing. It wasn't an awesome experience. And so while I was back there, man, I really I just started crying out to him, man. And for me, it was one of those things. It was just, it wasn't an audible voice, but it was just him sitting there. I just felt his broken heart. It was his love. It wasn't a condemning, bro, you're doing this again, because I had gotten the cancer. They cut it all out. I sat back on close custody, and this dude that was in the cell next to me passed me a stick, passed me a K2, too. And so, I'm back there. I'm in, so I was like, I might, just one little, and so sat there to smoke whatever, and passed it back to him. And I was sitting there, and I had written all these scriptures up on the wall in my cell, and I'm sitting there looking at them, and I'm just like, I just felt in almost a tangible way the love of Christ. And so I had this moment where it was just like, he was like, you know what, man, I love you. I want more for you than this. I love you. I want to use you. I felt called to ministry since I was a kid in regards to music and ministry and all that kind of stuff. I felt a calling and a pulling on my life to do that. But I just felt him just telling me I love you.
Yes.
This is not, and it was almost like he was just conveying to me, that this isn't going to bring you happiness. That this is only temporary. I know that this is what you keep looking for is what I have to offer you, and this is not going to give it to you. I love you. And so I just had this moment where I was like, man. So for me, that was a moment in prison where it was like, man, I gotta start serving him again. I got to get back, and I got to not only get back in the church. I need to surrender. I need to lay what I want. I need to lay what I, it was that, that Luke 9:23, man. I had to deny myself, man, what I want, what I think, and just surrender. So, yeah.
The crazy thing is, I wonder, why do we replicate things that we see it won't work? Guys go to prison all the time, and we replicate the things that they do. Why do we do that? I mean, I don't know. It's human nature, not a spiritual nature, human nature. We replicate these things because I didn't come out the womb, and I know it wasn't in my mother's arms when I came to entry, I know that didn't happen. It was something I saw that I wanted to feel like this way. I wanted, he looks high. I might want to feel like that, or he's wearing jewelry. I want to look like that. And so I'll do anything I have to do to look like that. And I'll do anything I'll have to do to feel like that. But the path that's going to be detrimental. And we replicate that. I don't see why we
man.
keep doing that. You know,
I know the first thing that comes to my mind is identity.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it was kind of it's identity. Yeah, you don't know identity. So for me, it was the same thing. It was like, man, I'm seeing that's the whole reason I went to that lifestyle, because I was like, they look like they're having fun. They look like they're enjoying themselves. They've got money, they've got women, they're hot, this and that. And so I feel like for me, the biggest change was whenever God began to reveal who he was through his word and began to reveal who I am in him. And so all these things that I've been searching for, he's like, look, dude, this is just a shell of what the world offers. The women, the drugs, the money, the jewelry, the cars, that lifestyle, that fast lifestyle. It's this shell. You're pursuing that because what you want is the fulfillment. What I want is that peace. What I want is that joy. I want these fruits of the spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness. I want these things. That's what I really, really want. But I'm believing a lie that this is what's going to give it to me, even though I know it won't. And so I pursue it. And it's just this vicious cycle of the enemy using the world to keep me away from the truth and to keep me away from our Creator, man.
It's crazy, man, because it's like I see, brothers like yourself, man. I want to salute you for doing what it took. It took brothers to hold me accountable for things that I was doing. It took my wife to say, man, you're slip hanging, you tripping, man. You know what I'm saying? I had to have those people around me because I lacked integrity. Just to be honest, I lack integrity. Those things that I do when I'm alone, will I be of Jesus Christ when I'm alone? And that's what I lack. I lacked integrity. So I kind of needed people around me to say, hey, this is what we do. Like Trey Nines and your gifteds and people like that, even Dave, and people that hold me accountable for stuff that they see and say, man, we don't do that, dog. Come on. Us over here, we don't do that. And we want you to be a part of this, but you can't do that, because I had an anger problem. I would just go off on people. And so it took sometimes people to say, hey, Double O, you can do that, man, And I mean, I got into it on tour one time at a church. And I didn't know how to be unoffendable. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know how to be unoffendable. And so I'm in the church and I'm finna fight in the church. And so I grabbed the dude and I slammed the dude, and everybody looking at me like, dude, we in the church. I was like, oh man. God, and I'm feeling so bad. I mean, right 1 second after that. I'm not even playing it out like to say, yeah. I'm not even doing that because now I'm humble 1 second after, and I'm like, oh, why did I do that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I went to apologize to the cat. I apologize to everybody that's seen it, because it was crazy, man. But the crazy thing, what I gotta say, every time I've met you, I know you was in that bunk before. You out the bunk now, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to know the things that, and I'm not gonna play with you. We was at the prison together the other day, right?
Yeah.
And so your guest came up, right? And so I leaned over to Trick, and I say, this dude about the police, man. Hey man, I'm a good law-abiding citizen. I'm a reputable person in society. I'm okay. But I was like, he's about the laws, man.
He would bring the police in here with us, man. God bless.
Actually, about the police with him.
That's my boy, man. That's my boy, man.
On a drug deal. Back in the day, like, man, this dude's about the police. You know what I'm saying? But this is real,
They say that about me every time I'd go down in there to do that. Every time I would back in the day, that's what they'd say. Man, they gotta let the police in here, man. God bless. Every time, dude. Every time.
Yeah. So one thing I want to ask you, and I'm gonna I haven't figured it out, but I'm on Apple, like I upload these episodes to Apple. If you got an iPhone, you can see it. If you got a Samsung, you can see it. Whatever, Android or whatever, Spotify. So these shows will, be going on all those platforms. And I'm attempting to go on the JPay platform and the Securus platform so people can hear it where we come from. And I'm just learning a few months ago, everybody got tablets now. And so I'm like, man,
insane.
And so I wanted to do this podcast with brothers that have been incarcerated, know what it's like. That's why it's called the Progression Podcast, the progress, that God gives us. And so I really want to know, what are you doing? Well, not what you're doing now. First off, I'm gonna ask you that, but no, I'm gonna ask you, what are you doing now? What is your thing now?
So I serve at a I work for actually for a church member, do like mobile upholstery work, so work on vehicles, boats, stuff like that. My boss is owns the business, and so it's a very small. I was his only employee. He just brought in a couple more people to work, and so stay super busy with that as far as work. But I definitely stay busy serving, man. Every time Charm goes in, I go. I mean, I'm going in to be a part of that. I've got another buddy. He goes in occasionally and speaks at some prisons, so I go in with him whenever he goes in. I've been just started last month speaking at a juvenile detention center down in Galveston County, and actually go. I go once a month, and I go lead worship over at it's a men's restoration home out in the middle of nowhere, out in a little town called Wallace, Texas, called the Sheepfold. It's an amazing ministry, man. And so I go out there and lead worship once a month. And I serve at the church that I attend called The Bridge. They're located in Sugar Land, Richmond. And so I sing, help lead worship over there every week at one of the two campuses. And God's doing a lot of amazing things there at that church, and through every ministry that I'm blessed to be able to serve with, man. Charm, the Sheepfold, the Bridge. Every single ministry, man, God is just doing some amazing things, because it just seems like there's more and more people that are willing to be bold about the name of Christ and to really step out and to speak about, what he's done in their life. And it's not only is it giving people hope, it's changing people's lives. And it's, as it's not about us. It's not about the things we've done. It's about this transforming love, this transforming grace and mercy that he pours out on us. And so, man, that's what I'm doing now, is just serving and loving it.
That's wonderful, because when I was locked up, to tell you seriously, CJ, when I was locked up, and I'm not being ageist or racist, but it was some old white man that would come in and he would barely walk in, and I was like, man, I really can't relate to this guy. But I was real happy he came, because, hey, man, that man took the time out of his day to come and just talk to us and go through that search and all that kind of stuff. So I was real grateful. So if I would have had a guy that come in like you, that'll tell me some stuff. If you would have came to me that first time I was in prison, I probably wouldn't have went back that second time. You know what I'm saying? Because oh man, this dude, hey man, he just like me. Look at him right now. What he doing? You know what I'm saying? I could be doing that. And so now that's what I'm doing. I'm going back in with you, Charm, Trey 9. We going back to give love to the brothers.
Well, I think that's one of the biggest things too is, and I shared this whenever we were at Darrington last week, man, I've been out 2 years, and right after I got out, man, I fell flat on my face, and so I think it's one of those things that I definitely want to encourage people as well, that, man, use the time that you're in there. And even if you're not incarcerated or locked up, bro, use whatever time that you have in your life, whenever you have time to get in that word and draw close. Because, man, the enemy, man, he is going around, man. He's going around, man, just waiting for an opportunity to jump in and slip in. And for like I said, for me, man, I got out, man, was chasing after a female, and within a few months had a needle back in my arm, and dude, I'm so thankful, man. And a lot of times I know previously in my life, I would let experiences like that kind of keep me quiet. And, hey, man, you know what? Maybe I'm not supposed to do this. And I said, man, you know what, man? Let's go, man. And so I was real.
I'm going to tell you
what
it remind me of when you're a kid and you got the birthday cake and the candles lit. And so they say, make a wish, you know what I'm saying? So you blow out all the candles, they say, okay, just keep the wish to yourself, you know what I'm saying? It'll come true.
Right.
But if you tell somebody, that won't come true.
Right.
So maybe telling somebody that what happened, that won't happen again. You know what I'm saying? Pray to God. If it's God's will, we know it won't happen again. I'm glad you're giving that testimony, because I have to get the same testimony, man, because shoot, powder was back up in my nose. The second time. So I said, man, I gotta tell that testimony. I gotta tell somebody, because they died right now. And then maybe, layman's terms, tangible ways, I can keep him out my house.
Yeah.
Maybe if I spread this, he won't be in my house like 3 weeks.
Come on.
So
come on.
That's what I want to say. So I said, we're going to be on JPay.
Come on.
Securities. So what I want to ask you is, can you talk to the person? Because we try to make our minds still before we get out, and we have these disappointments that happen to us when we come home. We have this plan A, B, C, and don't know we need a D, E, F. You know what I'm saying? All of them, all the letters, really. But I want you to tell a message to the guys that's in the bunk right now, about to come home. They got like 3 years. They had caravans, you know what I'm saying? In about 3 years, they got 3 years, not 3 months, 3 years.
Yeah.
What should they do right now to prepare to get out here? Because it's a lot out here.
Yeah. So I would say one of the biggest things that I would encourage would be to work on the intimacy in your walk with Jesus Christ, man. I would definitely say I would pour every spare moment that I had, I would pour it into not just reading his word, but studying his word, memorizing scripture, internalizing it. I would definitely say to pour out as much time as you 1 Thessalonians 5:17, man, pray without ceasing. Pray, cry out to God every single day throughout the day, stay in contact with him, but listen for his voice as well. So you get familiar with his voice, and that intimacy will grow in that walk with him. Have a group of men. You touched on this earlier. Have a group of men that you surround yourself with, that there's accountability for, that you're willing to talk about the nitty gritty stuff. Yeah. Like I got guys in my life that I can talk to, like, bro, I'm being tempted with talking about masturbation and porn, all that kind of stuff. Like, hey man, I'm being tempted. I need to talk about I need to have men in my life that I can talk to about, hey man, this chick's hit me up, and I know if I go over there, I know what's going to happen. So I would say build a group of men around you that you can go through this with together, because community is where it's at, man. Without a doubt, bro. Got to. You got to have people that are straight up with you.
To tell you the truth, man, I'm so proud of you, man. I'm proud of what you're doing. Yeah. The prison ministries, the work that you do, and I'm not going to parallel it with Jesus Christ saying you was a carpenter and he was a carpenter. I'm not going to parallel that, but
you good, yeah.
Maybe, but to be honest, man, I knew I had to have you on the show. I saw you the other day, and I was like, man, I gotta have that cat on the show, man. I gotta work something out, and so I'm so glad that you came on, man, to encourage the brothers, and I salute you to keep going and do what you do, man. And hey,
come on,
keep doing your thing.
Say, man, so thankful you had me on, man. So grateful to be here, man. It's I love serving with y'all, man. Love serving with you. Love serving with Charm going in and just talking about the love of Christ, man. So to anybody that is listening, man, you can never be too far gone, man, to receive the love of Christ, no matter what you think you've done. The first time, the 15th time, the 100th time, it doesn't matter if you're doing, man, it doesn't matter. The love of God is real, man. And so if you're sitting here wondering, thinking about it, man, if it's right now, then it's not too late, man. Just turn back to him, man. Just so thankful, man. God is good.
Love you, man.
Love you, big dog.
Yeah, brother. I see you. We're going to holiday on the 25th.
25th.
Yeah.
Already. Holiday. Let's go. Come on.
Love you, man. Thank you
man.
so
Come
much,
on, man.
man.
Yes, sir. Peace. All right.
Hey, so check it out. That was my man. My man, CJ Hawkins, man. So, a good dude, man. He had a redemption story like no other, man. So understand this. When you in there right now, I just want to give a message to those guys, man. Don't let your yesterday kill your future. So them thoughts that you have about being an old man, kill them, man. Don't let that stuff go, the long way, So, man, shout out to my man CJ Hawkins, man. And it was a funny yet informative show, you know what I'm saying? So I just thank him for everything he's done, man. Like I say, don't let your yesterday kill your tomorrow, man. You know what I'm saying? 007, man. And so usually I just go out with the theme song. And so I guess I'll go back out with the theme song, you know what I'm saying? So y'all ready to go?